everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest WAAAGH, where we are playing Tzeentch. This is turn 9. Turn 9? Turn 9. This is turn 9. Let's get into it. We've got an augury. Was that like 4 auguries now or something like that we've got nothing with? Yike! Okay, that's not great. Marauder Shaman searched for magic and found nothing in the Silver Woods. Unfortunate. We've got 2 battles. Endless Plain. Okay, so this is a bunch of Marauders and some Elephants against really just, archers. Do the archers get lucky and plink an elephant down and cause an issue? That's really the only chance of anything happening here. Hunters out front. You got elephants coming in. I should have taken the elephants off of hold and attack. But at the same time, that still worked out fairly well, I believe. Lost 1 Marauder. Honestly, not going to complain about that as a result. Pretty decent. And then in Brightwood, we have a bunch of Marauders out in front. 1 chieftain directly in the back, 1 chieftain off to the side, just in case there's any shenanigans. And is it me, or are there significantly less bear tribe here than I thought there were going? Or is it just because there's 3 to a square? Okay, we'll check the numbers here in a second. But this should not be an issue. Our Marauders should chew through. Took a little bit of javelin damage. And then we do the chopping. So honestly, took some. Lose like 10 or 15 there maybe. Lost 9. So yeah, not too bad. Okay, and this was only 68, not the 80 to 90 that it had kept telling us. So honestly, probably for the better. Had this been 90, I still think we would have won, though it's possible that we would have HP routed or something like that. But I think we still would have won. We just would have won with probably like double the casualties because it would have taken way longer. But either way, Brightwood success. Another secret unlocked. We're ticking away at that. We have an unexpected event in Sermiok. Unrest plus 30 and misfortune 3. And we've patrolled some units down and enforced the law. Sermiok. Okay, yeah, in fairness, that is outside of my dominion right now and has misfortune 2. Hey, probably from your frickin' wood elves. Dermot? Oh, also our dominion has been squished. So we're not going to get any secrets next turn. Unbelievable. Alright, well, it is what it is. So, what are we actually doing this turn? Well, we're not expanding, because we don't have the avenues to do so. We do have 10 Marauders here and 8 Marauders here. We could throw 18 Marauders at Baan Dakor. Last turn, it was like 20 units. This turn, it's like 40 units. 40 probably wouldn't be good. 18 versus 30 would hurt, but probably be fine. 18 versus 20 would be easy peasy, right? So we're not in... One, Baan Dakor is not an especially wealthy province that we super care about. It is pretty much secured, right? Karaz-a-Karak is not coming further into us. Athel Loren could, but at that point it's just war, right? So we're just gonna wait, and we are sending out our first group of chosen, or not chosen, Chaos Warriors and some Chaos Trolls, just to pop on over 2 things. While that is happening, the Hannibal and Paul army is going to head back to Balcoria to drop down into Dreher Caverns. We're also going to sneak down in there and start looking around, see if we can kind of get a better view of what's going on. We're going to continue to move around, do some site searching, continue to augury. We have our research core back in the capital, so we're up to 70 research speed this turn, which is pretty decent. We will finish Evocation 2 and then be well on our way to Evocation 3 for the following turn. We are recruiting a bunch of Marauders over in Traveler's Rest. We are recruiting a bunch of Marauders over in Brightwoods. We are recruiting more Marauders in Ard. We are recruiting more Marauders in Forest of the Lost. We are recruiting some Marauders in Balcoria. And we're recruiting a bunch of Scouts as well as more Chaos Warriors and 2 Cultists rather than a Mage this turn. Because we only have 1 Cultist out right now for Rakeborn over here. And we kind of just need more bodies out to either go preach or go drop temples, or go site search for H1. We want to do all of those things. We need a turn just to kind of like get that all up and running. Easy peasy lemon squeeze. So, no expansion this turn, which isn't great, considering this is turn 9. But our borders are basically all set. Like, we know what we're going to get, right? So we have Brightwoods. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 up top. We are definitely going to get... Did I say 13? 1, 5, 7, 8, 11... 12, 13, 14 with Drear Caverns, 15 with Palia, I feel very likely. And then it's the question of Nagaron's gonna get something. Otherwise, I don't think things are gonna go well from a negotiation standpoint. So they're at least getting Silver World, maybe also Hot Hollows, right? So we're looking at either 15 or 16 in regards to them. Which isn't fantabulous, but it's also not horrendous, right? Perfectly acceptable, especially in these kind of like pinched maps where everything is 3x3. So I think most people, except for maybe like some individuals like Itza, who has had very good expansion, maybe Karaz-a-Karak will do well because they have the extra cave scenario. I think there's like 4 provinces down here, or maybe 5. So that's a lot of extra cave for them. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17. Right, they're probably in the high teens, low 20s, that type of scenario. So Itza, Karaz-a-Karak, and I've heard... I don't know where they're at, but I've heard... Bretonia is doing really crazy expansion. Like a quad expansion on turn 2, which just sounds like insanity. But apparently they are doing something. It got said with knights. There's only so many knightly options, and that immediately makes me assume that it's some crazy Hellbless Grail Knight scenario, where they're sending out like 2 or 3 Grail Knights at a time to just face roll things. But I don't know the particulars about that yet. All the more reason for the multiple scouts that we are recruiting, so that we can get out there and see these things and kind of like piece together the stories and tales and understand what's going on. So that is that particular situation. Anything else crazy? No, I don't think so. So, something to talk about is Middenheim and Athel Loren, right? Looking up at Midenheim, we actually get some interesting information. These boys, right? And we see these boys. So we can go over and look at Middenheim, Wolf of the North. What we see there is the Tutagen Guard, which are basically Middenheim's special greatsword. So, same type of scenario, only recruitable in the capital. They have the Middenhammer, which has it's a hammer, right? With a charge bonus for first strike, which is kind of wild, right? So this thing slaps on the first hit. And then they have very high protection, basically low other things, but very high protection. Decent attack stat. You know. And they also, we could see a particular set of knights. So the way the Empire or Middenheim or Nuln works is you can get order, so these are the regular order knights. And then these are the special orders. And we've seen these guys, the Knights of War, right? So these are expensive. This is 750 fucking gold to pop this chapter house. And you get a unique leader with a force of 11 knights, which is pretty cool, right? So after that, check, what is it? Here. So we can see these are the Knights of War, which is the icon that we saw on the map. Very high protection, decent defense skill, warhorse scenario. Not looking really crazy, honestly. 2 attacks. We've got a hoof. We've got a magic sword. But the magic sword holds a secret. It's the sword of More. And those killed will rise as soulless beings. So when you kill things with this, I think it only works on not undead or demons. Or magic? I don't know. I would have to look into... it doesn't work on everything, I don't believe. But generally speaking, when you kill things, it'll rise as a soulless, which is very interesting and can actually cause problems, right? If, you get into a big battle and the Knights of More are on a flank and they start cutting a swath through that flank, all of a sudden... that flank isn't just losing, that flank now becomes a reinforcement center for the enemy. So these guys are pretty cool, actually. So maybe we'll get to see more Order Knights. I think the Human Nations are some of my favorite in the game, just because they have so many cool, unique options. Regardless, we know some information about Middenheim. We know, generally speaking, how they're expanding because of how Itza expanded, which was very well, generally speaking. And we've had some conversation with them. We have almost no information on Athel. So we're basically, in our minds, we're sitting here thinking about this concept of, okay, what are our early plans? Are we playing tall? Playing tall very rarely does well, right? Like, playing tall forever almost never does well, right? Playing tall for a little bit of the early game can be fine as long as you have a very big boom going into a late early game war, right? Whereas other people might be going into war anywhere from like 12 to 15. A late early game war would be like going to war at like turn 20, right? Like 18 to 20, that type of scenario. Although maybe that's not super late for everyone. I think it just kind of depends on the lobby and the people that you're playing with, because I think like casual players or new players will either just fucking rush each other or start late wars. Whereas I think more experienced players are almost always in that 12 to 15 turn mark. Finish expansion, unless you have some sort of weird bump that makes you go on someone immediately, you pick a target and you go type scenario. So we would be looking at that kind of like later early game concept of tall when I talk about playing tall. So we could either pick Middenheim, either pick Athel, or play tall. So that's the kind of concept that I'm going for. And in the picking department, we're basically picking an enemy we don't know versus an enemy we know a little bit about. So I'm not sure that we're super excited about any of those prospects. Right now, we have a fair amount of additional gold. That's part of why we're dumping gold into Marauders into various locations, because these Marauders are still going to be useful even in persecuting early wars or defending ourselves against early wars. But also, the kind of adjacency to playing tall is drones, right? Vongar is completely out of our sphere of influence. I think Andoria probably is as well, though technically if we take Sulfuria, we have as much claim on Andoria as we do on Namor. It's just Namor feels like it fits better, especially if we drop a fort in Sermiak. The resources are pretty horrible, and the recruitment points aren't great. Otis, why are you climbing up into my lap? You have been very bad here lately. You have been very bad here lately. I can't pet you, or I can't devote all of the attention to you right now. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to sit. You're gonna have to sit. Boy, either sit or get off the pot. Not the pot in this instance. So Sermiak is not a great province from a resource or recruitment standpoint, but it is situated, I think, in a very good location for us. And the resources around it are really good enough to make up for its resources. So I think we actually would be okay with dropping something there. And if we did, basically what I'm saying is Namor, I think, is semi enough in our sphere of influence. It kind of just depends on what's happening over here. Cormark, I think, absolutely is in our sphere. So we need to, probably I should have done this turn. I should have recruited a scout and tossed it at Cormark next turn, so we can get a really good concept of claws, what's going on there. And that's basically what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here because I have a cat in my face that is demanding my attention. So, pretty short and simple turn, making some plans for the future. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.